for our kids and our grandchildren, and for those of us who are alive today. All of you know, you've seen in the paper the other day, last year was the warmest year on record. You see what's going on in California with a drought where they have to substantially cut back on their use of water. You see what's going on with forest fires in terms of the severity and the length of it, the degree to which they continue to burn. You know about the heat waves in Pakistan and India. You know about the acidification of the ocean. This is a big, big deal. That's the bad news. The good news is that in many ways we know what has to be done. In Vermont and in New Hampshire, we've done reasonably well. We've got a lot more to do in terms of energy efficiency, in terms of making sure that our schools and our homes and our buildings are energy efficient. We've got to do a massive amount of work in transportation. We can take trucks off the road if we have a state-of-the-art rail system. In Iowa now, I believe they're getting close to 30% of their electricity from wind. Huge potential with wind. The cost of solar is plummeting. We introduced legislation for 10 million solar rooftops to make it easier for people, middle class, working class people, to install solar on their roofs. We know what has to be done. Now is the time to do it. And to answer your question, we have got to break our dependency on fossil fuel. Okay, that means no more of these pipelines. Let me just say one word, because I want to connect the dots. When I talked to you a moment ago about a corrupt campaign finance system, how does it relate to climate change and the fact that not one Republican candidate for president, and very few Republicans in Congress, recognize the reality of climate change or the need to do something about it? How does that relate to campaign finance? Anybody know? Yep.
Because a lot of the Republican candidates are funded by the oil industry.
Exactly. It's not very hard to understand. If today some Republican candidate for president or for the Senate or whatever stands up and says, look, I've talked to the scientists, I've read the literature, we got a really serious problem with regard to climate change, we have to do something. On that day, the Koch brothers and the fossil fuel industry would stop the campaign funds from coming into that person's campaign. That's the connection. It happens time and time and time again. But the clear connection between candidates being dependent upon fossil fuel money and opposing efforts to address climate change could not, in my view, be clearer. Okay, we got a question over here.